Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes no one is coming to rescue her. No one is going to fight this battle for her. No one is going to carry the cross she was born to bear. And in that moment, she has two choices: to bow before the weight of adversity or to rise, knowing that she was chosen for this very moment. You see, the most dangerous woman in the world is not the one who is surrounded by an army. It is the one who has been left to fight alone and still refuses to surrender. Because when a woman of God stands in the battlefield of life, all hell trembles. Not because she has strength in her. A woman of God who fights alone understands that solitude is not a sign of weakness, but a divine process of refinement. When she finds herself standing alone, it is not because she has been abandoned, but because she is being prepared. She realizes that the moments of isolation are the moments when God is shaping her, removing distractions and drawing her closer to his purpose. In the stillness, she learns to hear his voice more clearly, to trust his guidance more fully, and to rely on his strength rather than the support of people around her. This process of being set apart is necessary for her growth. It is in these moments that she confronts herself, her fears, and her doubts. She comes face to face with her own limitations and learns to depend entirely on God. The absence of human validation forces her to seek divine affirmation. She no longer looks to the world for her identity. Instead, she finds her worth in the one who called her. As she walks this journey, she begins to recognize that being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, but solitude with God is a place of filling. It is where her faith deepens, her vision becomes clearer, and her spirit is strengthened. The battles she faces in solitude are not meant to destroy her, but to equip her. Every tear, every silent prayer, every moment of struggle is molding her into the warrior she is meant to be. Her ability to stand alone becomes a testimony of her spiritual maturity. She no longer depends on external encouragement to keep moving forward. Her strength is no longer drawn from people, but from the promises of God. She fights battles that no one sees, overcomes struggles that no one acknowledges, yet she remains steadfast because she understands that her fight is not just for herself, it is for the purpose she carries. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is a process of being stretched, broken, and rebuilt. She faces seasons where it feels like nothing is happening, yet in those seasons, everything is happening. Her character is being refined, her endurance is being tested, and her spirit is being fortified. She learns to embrace the silence because she knows it is in the silence that God speaks the loudest. Eventually, she emerges stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. The world may not have noticed her struggle, but it will not be able to ignore her victory. The woman who once questioned her strength now walks with unshakable confidence. The same battles that once made her feel isolated now become the reason for her empowerment. She understands that her solitude was never a punishment, but a preparation. In the end, she stands firm, knowing that she was never truly alone. She was being trained, molded, and positioned for something greater. And when the time comes, she will not only fight, she will conquer. A woman of God who fights alone does not engage in battle for personal gain, recognition, or approval. Her fight is not driven by selfish ambition, but by a divine assignment placed upon her life. She understands that every battle she faces carries a purpose beyond herself, a purpose that is woven into the fabric of her destiny. Each challenge, obstacle, and opposition is not an attack without meaning, but a part of the process that is shaping her into the vessel she was created to be. Her battles are not random, they are strategic. Every struggle she endures is connected to the fulfillment of a higher calling. She does not fight aimlessly, swinging at the air without direction. Instead, she fights with precision, with the understanding that every victory she secures is tied to the impact she is destined to make. She carries within her the weight of divine responsibility, knowing that her perseverance will open doors not just for herself, but for others who will come after her. The intensity of her fight is not a sign of defeat, but of significance. The enemy does not attack without reason. He targets that which has value. The opposition she faces is evidence of the greatness within her. The resistance she encounters is not meant to discourage her, but to refine her, to strengthen her, and to prepare her for the manifestation of what she has been called to do. She does not question why the battle is so fierce, because she understands that a greater purpose is being revealed through the fight. She does not rely on temporary emotions to sustain her. Feelings may waver, but purpose remains constant. She does not retreat when the battle gets tough, because she knows that the weight of her calling demands endurance. She is not fighting for comfort or convenience. She is fighting for destiny. She knows that every battle won in the spiritual realm will eventually manifest in the physical. She stands firm, unwavering, and unshaken, because she is rooted in something far greater than what the natural eye can see. Her fight is an act of obedience. She does not resist the battle because she understands that the journey she is on is not about her personal preference, but about divine will. She embraces the struggle, knowing that in the process, she is being molded into the warrior she was designed to be. She is not moved by temporary setbacks or delays, because she recognizes that timing is in the hands of the one who has called her. With every step forward, she moves with intention. She is not distracted by unnecessary battles or entangled in meaningless conflicts. She guards her energy, her focus, and her faith. She fights with purpose, with vision, and with unwavering determination. She is not afraid of the fire because she knows it is refining her. She is not afraid of the storm because she knows it is strengthening her. She is not afraid of the battle because she knows the victory has already been declared. A woman of God who fights alone does not rely on her emotions to determine her faith. She understands that feelings are temporary, but faith is eternal. She knows that faith is not about what she sees, hears, or feels. It is about what she believes. Even when circumstances seem to contradict the promises of God, she refuses to waver. She does not allow fear, doubt, or uncertainty to dictate her steps. Instead, she stands firm, knowing that God's word is true, regardless of how she feels in the moment. Her journey is not one of ease, nor is it always filled with visible signs of progress. There are moments when the silence feels heavy, when prayers seem unanswered, and when the presence of God feels distant. Yet, she understands that the silence of God does not mean his absence. She does not equate his quietness with his abandonment. She knows that faith is tested in the waiting, in the uncertainty, and in the moments when nothing seems to be happening. She refuses to allow her emotions to control her decisions. She does not let discouragement stop her from moving forward. She does not let exhaustion convince her to give up. She does not let temporary setbacks make her forget the eternal plan of God. She understands that the enemy often uses emotions to create doubt, to shake confidence, and to weaken resolve. But she has trained herself to rise above emotions, to anchor herself in faith, and to trust in what she knows rather than what she feels. Her faith is built on the unshakable foundation of God's promises. She has learned that God's word does not change based on circumstances. Whether she feels strong or weak, whether she is celebrated or ignored, whether she sees immediate results or not, her faith remains steady. She knows that God is not moved by emotions, but by faith. She understands that trust is not about having all the answers. It is about believing in the one who does. Her heart may feel weary, but her spirit remains strong. Her mind may be filled with questions, but her soul clings to truth. She does not need constant reassurance from others because she has already been assured by God. She does not require constant confirmation because she knows that what God has spoken will come to pass. She may walk through seasons of uncertainty, but she does not let uncertainty define her. She walks by faith, not by sight. She chooses to believe when it is difficult, to trust when it is painful, and to keep moving forward even when nothing makes sense. She does not wait for her emotions to align before she takes action. She does not wait to feel strong before she steps out in obedience. She moves forward because she knows that faith is not about feelings. It is about knowing that even in the unseen, God is working. And that alone is enough to keep her standing. A woman of God who fights alone understands that adversity is not a sign of defeat, but a tool of refinement. She does not see challenges as obstacles meant to destroy her. Rather, she views them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the purpose she carries. She knows that every struggle she endures is not in vain, for it is shaping her into the warrior she was created to be. She refuses to allow hardship to define her negatively, but instead uses it as a stepping stone to become more resilient, more disciplined, and more determined. Her mindset is one of victory, not victimhood. She does not dwell on what has been lost or what has been taken from her. Instead, she focuses on what is ahead, pressing forward with unwavering faith. She understands that battles are not meant to break her spirit, but to build her endurance. Every hardship she faces becomes a lesson, a test, and ultimately a testimony of perseverance. She does not allow pain to make her bitter. She takes every setback and turns it into a setup for what is to come. She understands that pressure produces strength. Just as precious metals are refined in fire, her faith, character, and endurance are strengthened through trials. She embraces the process, knowing that the greater the opposition, the greater the preparation. She does not pray for an easier path, but for the strength to walk the path she has been given. She does not wish away her struggles, but asks for wisdom to navigate them with grace. Her ability to overcome adversity is not based on her own power, but on the divine strength within her. She does not fight in her own ability, but leans on a higher source. She recognizes that her battles are not just physical or emotional, but spiritual in nature. She does not waste time complaining about difficulties. Instead, she equips herself with prayer, faith, and persistence. She understands that victory is not determined by the absence of challenges, but by the endurance to push through them. She does not seek comfort over purpose. She is willing to go through seasons of hardship because she knows they are preparing her for what is ahead. She does not give up when the road gets difficult because she knows that perseverance produces strength. Strength produces endurance, and endurance produces victory. She remains steadfast, knowing that every struggle she faces is part of a greater plan. She walks with confidence, not because her path is easy, but because she has learned to trust the process. She faces battles with boldness, knowing that she has already been equipped to overcome them. She does not question why the fight is so intense. She understands that her destiny requires her to be refined. She stands tall in the midst of adversity, knowing that every battle she faces is shaping her into the warrior she was destined to become. A woman of God who fights alone understands that endurance is not just about surviving the battle, but about being transformed through it. She does not measure success by how quickly she overcomes challenges, but by how deeply she is shaped in the process. Every hardship, every moment of isolation, and every struggle she endures is refining her into the person she was created to be. She does not see endurance as a burden, but as a privilege, knowing that those who persevere are the ones who are truly elevated. She knows that crowns are not given to the faint-hearted, but to those who refuse to give up. The journey she walks is not for the weak, and she accepts that the refining process will test every part of her being. She understands that endurance is not about having strength at all times, but about pushing forward even in moments of weakness. It is about continuing to stand when everything inside her wants to quit. It is about choosing faith over fear, persistence over passivity, and resilience over resignation. She is aware that endurance does not happen overnight. It is built through time, through trials, and through seasons where nothing seems to be changing. She embraces the waiting, knowing that growth is happening even when she cannot see it. She trusts that every tear, every prayer, and every act of obedience is adding to the foundation of what she is becoming. She does not rush the process because she knows that anything truly valuable takes time to be developed. Her endurance is a sign of her spiritual maturity. She does not allow temporary discomfort to make her lose sight of eternal purpose. She does not waver in her faith simply because circumstances are difficult. Instead, she sees challenges as opportunities to grow stronger, to deepen her trust in God, and to refine her character. She has learned that those who endure are the ones who are entrusted with greater responsibility, greater wisdom, and greater influence. She walks with confidence, knowing that no battle she faces is wasted. She understands that endurance is not about feeling strong every moment, but about remaining committed despite the difficulties. She does not measure her success by how many battles she has fought, but by how well she has endured them. Her strength is not in how quickly she overcomes, but in how steadfastly she continues. Her reward is not just found in the victories of this world, but in the eternal impact of her faithfulness. She knows that endurance leads to legacy, that perseverance leads a mark beyond her own lifetime. She fights not just for herself, but for those who will come after her. She understands that the battle she wins today will pave the way for others tomorrow. In the end, she stands not just as a survivor, but as a conqueror. She is crowned not because she never struggled, but because she never gave up. Her endurance has made her unstoppable, and her unwavering faith has secured her victory.